The Secretary of Defense of the United States of America has called almost all the heads of military command to arrive in Virginia State, deep in the heart of America. Date of meeting this upcoming Tuesday. Why? That's what we're going to analyze today in this post. And trust me, it's no small thing. It's an unprecedented gathering. Hundreds of military men and women in positions of command, brigadier generals in rank or above, in the same room, metaphorically speaking, it might be a hall or whatever, in a meeting literally called by the SecDef, the Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War, sorry, because Trump renamed it. And the agenda for the meeting? Undisclosed. Bing. This meeting could change the future of America forever. I'll explain why. First off, the facts. 800 roughly generals, including generals from all 5 major branches of the United States military: Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, right? Why? Why are they being convened? The reason of the meeting is not confirmed, but because it's for next Tuesday, it's almost certain it's not for something urgent, like a response to an attack or a response to an impending attack that's about to happen, or a mobilization against another state. As the meeting's 4 days away, that's too much time. It's not urgent enough. So we can hopefully, reasonably, we can rule that out, analytically speaking. So that leaves, by my assessment, 2 options potentially. Both options might be triggered here. Let's go through the 2 options. Number 1, military restructuring and pivoting. Pivoting. Pivot Ross Geller would be proud. As a Friends reference for you. Anyway, if you're old like me. Anyway, America may very well be moving further in its pivot or a contraction from a globe-spanning superpower to a more home continents focused great power, pulling back from Europe and the Middle East, and to some extent Africa in particular, to focus on the home continents of North America and South America. Venezuela, for example, Trump making noise there and talking about Panama at the start of his presidency this time around. It's a focus on the home continents, much closer to America, right? And they might also focus on a potential fight across the Pacific with the titan of Asia, Zhongguo, or China. This great pivot would be a valid reason to convene this meeting of generals, and specifically, the meeting could include the collapse of certain command centers. Collapse as in like bundling them into each other, e.g., for example, if Africa, Middle East, and European American command was reduced in size or combined, that would suggest a huge shift in American military priorities, saying Europe, Middle East, and Africa, not too much of our focus. We're going to focus on Asia. We're going to focus on the home continents, saying that all these places across the Atlantic are not as important to us now, not as important to us relative to the other places I just mentioned, China and North and South America. Now, that's the first reason. So restructuring, compressing the military, pulling back America's sphere of influence from globe spanning to more local. The second reason for the meeting the meeting may be convened. One take, guys, you know me. So I might mess up, but excuse it. The second reason it might be convened is as a loyalty test, right? Many analysts are saying who supports Trump and who's an untrustworthy liberal. Very bad, very bad. Why are you so woke / he, him / she, je? Consolidation of power in crucial times is completely part of the modus operandi of a state trying to keep hold of control. And these are no doubt crucial times. There's huge domestic instability in America, with America going through easily the most unstable period since its last civil war, with both sides becoming more polarized, political violence increasing. Charlie Kirk, for example, the most recent high-profile example, but there's many other examples. There's talk even openly, according to some American analysts. I've actually done a 1-hour interview with someone who's from America. He said, Marvels, we've never seen the kind of open talk of American Civil War like we're seeing right now. It's insane in America. I've made past videos myself saying it's more likely now than ever before it's more likely now than in the last 50 years that civil war could occur in America. But it's still not likely. It's just more likely than before. It's, in my assessment, still not likely unless things get significantly worse. But the Secretary of Defense / War may be proactively making sure that generals in the US military are loyal to the King, Donny Boy. I mean, the democratically elected president for only a specified and certainly not extendable length of time. Anyone deemed disloyal, anyone deemed a flight risk, anyone deemed potentially a general for the other side if civil war breaks out might be replaced, or find that the new plans, the news that the SecDef announces simply leaves them potentially a unloyal, a disloyal general leaves them out the job. Whoops! Would you look at that? All the generals of questionable loyalty were purged. What am I gonna do? Too bad. Better luck next time, bub. God, what have I been eating? Sugar rush. Anyway, basically, what I'm trying to say is to make sure that if things ever go civil war mode, the Secretary of Defense might be trying to ensure that the military sides completely with the government in Washington. Can't be for, can't leave space for dissenting opinions within the military's senior ranks. Time will tell how things turn out. But my forecast, based on my understanding, is that America will do one of two things priority wise, okay? Depending on where these two things sit, my prognosis or forecast for, generally the state of the globe will switch between two things. The first option is America will look inward more, and they'll pull back from Europe and the Middle East and choose to contract their sphere of influence to focus on their home continents, North and South America, right? That would be a more optimistic option. That would mean that America has sort of slid comfortably into its great power status and is not interested in trying to rival China and fight to keep its first place position on the throne of global hegemon. The second option is you see more focus on a military pivot to face Asia, specifically China, across the Pacific Ocean. Now, if that's the case, the prognosis, the forecasting is a bit, more pessimistic. World War III, for example, becomes more likely as America, as the falling star, or as academics in geopolitics call it, the Thucydides trap. I call it the falling star syndrome, because who has time to say Thucydides flipping trap? Right, the falling star syndrome is basically when top dog is on its way down and there's a challenge on its way up, it gets aggressive and starts smacking up the guy in second place to try and desperately keep its first place position, lording over everyone else, right? Everyone needs to stay down. I need to be at the top. So if we see a military pivot towards China, you know that it's making World War III, analytically speaking, more likely, because America might try to get hostile, try to get aggressive against China to keep its first place position at the top. If you see more focus on Mexico, Canada, the Latin American continent, right, South America, then you know that maybe America's trying to leave China alone because they think that ship has sailed. It's too far gone. Let's not try and keep first position. Let's just slide into second position and just lord over our home islands, right? The North America, South America block, and let China do its thing, which will mean China will completely run away with it, and it will absolutely cement its position as great power number 2, potentially even sliding into the leading great power, and America sliding into second. But America will be okay with it, which means we won't all suffer World War III. We won't have to pick out a new dress because it's our first World War. Don't worry, we'll be okay. Time will tell how things turn out here. I might just be talking absolute nonsense. I hope not. Anyway, for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz. I'll keep you updated on this news, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.